You're a Canadian citizen or a PR, and you've recently married to somebody who's not a Canadian citizen or a PR, or you're looking at getting married soon. And in thinking of submitting a spousal sponsorship application for your spouse or your spouse to be. Now, every year, thousands and thousands of Canadian PRs and citizens are in a similar situation, and they want to sponsor their spouse, but there is this fear that their application might get refused. There's a lot of paperwork regarding this, and for somebody doing this the first time, there can be a lot of apprehension, there can be a lot of confusion, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're living away from your spouse for an extended time period. So in today's video, I will tell you 3 important factors on which you need to focus if you want to make your spousal sponsorship PR application successful. Welcome back. My name is Shariq. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I run my firm, Shariq Immigration, based out of Mississauga, Canada. And since 2019, we've been helping a lot of Canadian PR and citizens like yourself in submitting their spousal sponsorship applications, family class applications, and general Canadian immigration applications. So as mentioned in the intro of the video, today I'm going to tell you 3 major factors that you need to focus on if you want your spousal sponsorship application to get successful. First up, the officer is looking at the genuineness of the marriage, genuineness of the relationship. So since you as a Canadian PR or citizen are claiming that you got married to somebody, this person could be inside Canada or could be outside Canada. In most cases, what happens is that people who are outside of Canada, they get married to like a Canadian PR or a citizen. It could be an arranged marriage, a marriage of like, whatever. And when the spousal sponsorship application is submitted, the sponsored spouse, the PR applicant, is actually outside of Canada, and the person who's sponsoring is inside Canada. Now, so this sort of becomes a long distance relationship. It could be that it was an arranged marriage, so there isn't a lot of background or run up towards this marriage. So different circumstances, different situations, but what officers are looking at is that you need to prove that your relationship is genuine. Now, as I mentioned, that there could be different instances. It could be an arranged marriage, it could be a marriage of like, it could be a bit of a mix, like a family marriage where somebody's getting married in places like in Muslim countries, in subcontinent. There's a lot of cousin marriages as well, So the most important aspect for you in preparing your spousal sponsorship application is to provide evidence that proves that this marriage was not just for the reason of getting Canadian PR, because that is where the officers are focused. So for this, you have to provide evidence that how this marriage came to be. This could be photos. Normally, when you look at the document checklist, it states that you have to provide up to 20 pictures, but there's absolutely no harm in providing more pictures. Usually with my clients, what I do is that depending on how the relationship develop, provide pictures, a good number of pictures, like around 15 pictures from the wedding functions. In a lot of South Asia, Eastern cultures, marriages are not just one function, rather they are a series of functions. So provide pictures from different functions. make sure that when you provide your wedding pictures, it is not just the bride and groom who are being shown in there, but other people, close family, that is also shown. If there was like a big meal given, there should be some pictures taken of that meal being served. So try and spread that around. The pictures should not just be the couple. Okay. If there are multiple events that took place, pictures from all these events, like if there were 3 events, probably you can have 5 or 6 pictures from each of the events. Then there should be some pictures which show the couple and the family or the people who know about this relationship before and after the wedding functions. So if there was an engagement ceremony, if there was a family gathering just before the actual functions, and similarly once you got married and maybe there were some family outings, the couple went for dinner with friends, these must also be put into the pictures. What you can do is that you can actually make multiple files of pictures. So one file specifically for wedding functions, another file which might have pictures from after when the wedding function took place. Other important documentary evidence is financial support. So usually if you are a Canadian PR or citizen and you're in Canada and your spouse is outside of Canada, depending who's earning and who is sponsoring, there should be some transfer of funds, transfer of gifts. These days, online gift portals are pretty common, so do that. That should be there, because if it is a husband and wife relationship, these things are always there. This should be there. And then also make sure that you have all the government documents that you have in Canada and wherever your spouse is. You put each other's name on the government documents. So driver's license, the address should be that of your home address. Like a lot of times, because I do a lot of applications for India, Pakistan, UAE, the South Asian community, even North Africa. So usually the culture is that when people get married, the wife moves to the family house of the husband, right? So if that is the case, then your wife who's being sponsored for PR, her driver license, her national ID, other documents, bank statement, these should now have the address of your family home in your home country, to prove that she's moved to your family house and you're waiting for her to get the PR, but she's now living with your family. Other documentary evidence in this regard is some letter of supports. So you can have 2 to 3 of your friends, the sponsor's friends, and 2 to 3 of PR applicants' friends write letter of support where they mention that they've attended your wedding or they know about your wedding, and they provide their contact details. Proof of communication. So communication in terms of WhatsApp chats, other chats, call logs, before the wedding. Like even if it was an arranged marriage and you guys started talking after engagement, those chat proofs are very, very important. And after wedding, keep in mind that the chat proofs that you're providing, they should show some intimacy, some bond, because it's a marital relationship that you now have. And it should not just be like you asking, okay, so where are you right now, or just good mornings and stuff. So it should show that bond of 2 married people. So these are some of the documents that you can focus on with regard to proving genuineness of your relationship. The second very important aspect is sponsors eligibility. Now, sponsors eligibility, there are quite a few factors. Probably I'll make a detailed video on that, but just touching upon this is that first step in this spousal sponsorship application is sponsors eligibility. Sponsors eligibility is first that they have Canadian immigration status. They've not lost that. If it is a Canadian citizen, he or she can sponsor their spouse even when they are outside of Canada, absolutely fine. But if it is a Canadian PR, they have to be in Canada when they submit the spousal sponsorship application. The spouse can be outside of Canada. The sponsor must not be in a married or a common law relationship with somebody else at the time that they do this. So if that is the case, and we've had issues because people sometimes get a divorce and then they're marrying for the second time, your first relationship, if it was a marriage, must have been there should be an annulment, there should be a divorce executed before you do the second sponsorship. Another important aspect is that you should not have a bar on your sponsorship. So by bar, there are certain legal situations where you cannot, if you are taking social welfare from the government, you cannot sponsor. If you are there has been a past instance of family violence from your side, you cannot sponsor. Then first you have to address those matters, and only then you need to submit your spousal sponsorship application. Thirdly, an important aspect that you need to focus on is the proof that this relationship is ongoing. So you've provided evidence that it was a genuine relationship, but proof of ongoing relationship is very, very important. What I've seen lately is that for a lot of applicants, IRCC has been asking documents later in the processing stage as well. Like with the initial application for my client, I did submit proof of chats, proof of funds transfer, proof of travel, but later on, like say maybe 4 months, 5 months, 6 months into the processing, they again asked for recent proof of communication or a recent funds transfer, or if there was a travel where the two met. So this is very important. Sometimes a mistake that people make is that they have documented chats for the time that they have to submit the spousal sponsorship application, but then they don't save it. You have to save certain screenshots from different times. Keep making gifts, keep sending money to each other, and save that evidence. If in between you can travel, meet each other, because sometimes these applications can take months and months, close to a year as well. Do that as well. So this is very important, because if later on the officer is concerned and they ask you for ongoing proof of relationship and you're not able to provide that, your application can still be refused. So these are the 3 very key aspects that I feel in my experience working with more than 150 to 200 spousal sponsorship applicants in last 5 to 6 years, that are very vital in terms of your application being successful. This is all for today. I hope I've been able to provide some valuable information to you. As already mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm an RCIC regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I'm the founder of Shariq Immigration, which is a leading immigration consulting firm based out of Mississauga. We have a 5-star ranking. You can look at our Google reviews. Spousal sponsorship application, family class applications, and business immigration applications are our strength. I can say with a lot of pride, 5 years, more than 200 spousal sponsorship applications. We've never had any refusal till date. We've handled some very challenging applications, some applications which were refused in the beginning, and then we help them get their application approved. So if you are interested for your spousal sponsorship application, or you have somebody in your family that is looking at sponsoring their spouse from outside of Canada, get in touch with us. Drop a comment. Our email address is info@shariqimmigration.com. You can send us an email. We'll get in touch with you, provide you a quote, and we can take up your application. Do provide your feedback about the video. Do like, subscribe, and share with others, and support the channel. Take care. Bye bye.